Hello again under this old oak tree. I like it here. I'm going to, in this video, expose a blind spot that is sweeping the world and always has done. It is not just the root cause of wars and murder. It is the root cause of the division, disunity, split, schism, separation and family destruction from a religious cult, which is what this chapter called The Blind Spot in Cultuscape chapter 22 is all about. And I'm just narrating it here and summarising it. It is for myself, it is for you, if you wish to examine yourself in the light of what this blind spot is. It is for understanding of cults that you might have been in, as to why they existed and started. And also, if you're in a religious group right now, maybe this blind spot applies to your leadership and to yourself and to your group. Would you like to see if it does? Keep listening, if you dare. Right, this blind spot, first of all, a definition: an area where a person's view is obstructed. And this blind spot is an obscure area that is enshrouded in mist and distraction. In fact, it is usually darkness that conceals this area. It is counterintuitive to even think about it. Most people don't even want to go here, where I'm going to go with this. It is protected by fear and pride, and therefore at first it's uncomfortable even just to look at, to hear about, and hence many rather avoid it. Are you still listening? The blind spot is believing I am right about what I believe. Ouch, aren't my beliefs right? Let's have a look. There are many influencing factors which cause us to have beliefs. During the times we hold a belief, we think we are right. If we didn't, we wouldn't have that belief. A person with a deep-rooted radical belief who has been coercively controlled or brainwashed into believing, for example, that 1 + 1 = 3, no matter how you rationally prove that 1 + 1 = 2, they will not see it. Why? There's a cluster of reasons have set their belief in rock-hard concrete. And here are 4 of the main reasons, I believe. Number 1, fear of the possible consequences of believing something different, if what you're believing is right isn't. Fear of having been wrong for maybe many decades, immersing themselves only with people who believe the same thing, and pride and ego rising up to protect their rightness. These are 4 reasons why people have beliefs set in concrete and they believe they are right. Now, just these 4 traits together can cause humans to make some of the gravest of errors. Killing and separating families is just to name 2. They bring out the traits of fear, self-righteousness, pride, separation, exclusion, and condemnation of others who aren't the same as us. To even begin to get free from being coercively controlled or brainwashed requires enough humility, enough love for yourself, and enough curiosity to even make you look at an alternative to what you believe is right. So the blind spot is simply thinking I am right. At first glance, this is not even an issue. I mean, who thinks they are wrong? Everyone has an opinion on things, do they not? Let me illustrate with a story. I was once told by an old man, Steve, during school years, his mother would always leave him his dinner money on the kitchen table. One morning he left for school, and when he got there, he hung up his coat in the cloakroom and went to his lessons as normal. At dinner time, he went to the cloakroom to get his money, only to find it wasn't there. He remembered picking it up from the kitchen table and putting it in his pocket that morning. He was utterly convinced he had done so. He could picture himself doing it. He went and told his teacher, who asked the class if anyone had taken the money. No one owned up, so the teacher went to the headmaster. The headmaster assembled the whole school, and since no one owned up, he kept the whole school back for an hour's detention at the end of the day. When Steve got home, he saw the money still on the kitchen table from that morning. His memory of picking it up was from the previous days. Here is then what Steve told me, which has stayed with me all my life. He said, "You can think you are so right, yet be so wrong." There is a blind spot. There is the blind spot. It is called self-righteousness. Have a look at these facts. There are over 40,000 religious denominations in the world, and that number is rapidly growing. Why? Because they each think they are right. The right religion, the right church, the right scriptures, the right temple, the right interpretation, the right doctrines, the right rules, the right regulations, the right leader, the right way of doing things. Man generally has an aptitude, which is that he has to be right. His religious denomination and his interpretation of his holy book isn't the third best or the 10th best, most accurate. No, it is the right one. And if it isn't quite perfect, then he knows how it should be. King Solomon once wrote that every way of a man is right in his own eyes. If you were to put all your money on the version of your religion or denomination as being the right one, the odds might be 40,000 to 1. History shows that man has sought to live by his rightness for millennia. A few years ago, I was shocked when I first saw that it had been my modus operandi as well. Here is what I saw. This actually shocked me, this realization. My version of understanding of what was right has always shifted, evolved, and changed continually and often out of all recognition. If I am honest with myself, I have to admit that at each change, each latest new understanding, I still continually believed that I was right. However, each time I amazingly forgot that my previous version was not right. I now disagreed with that, but I forgot about that. And that it had been flawed and in error, but all I could see was that my latest version, my current version, today, was right. I have discovered that this is not a comfortable subject to talk about with most people. When I have had this conversation with very religious people, here were 3 of their responses, word for word. I asked the question, what do you say about being right about your religious beliefs, bearing in mind there are over 40,000 denominations in the world today? The first person said, I am right. The second person said, I just read the Bible, it's simple, just believe what it says. The third person said, there is only one right position, and speaking humbly, it is the one I am in. Can you see? All right. They were all right according to their viewpoint. Try asking people yourself and see their response. Where does this I'm right come from? Logically, it comes from people's differing views on how they judge the world around them according to their understanding of whether something is good or evil, right or wrong. If their knowledge is that it is a good thing, then it is judged as right. If their knowledge of it is evil, then it is judged as being wrong. With this knowledge of good and evil, a dualism takes place. A them and us, a world governed by people making judgments based upon what they think is good or evil. It is not difficult to see that we live in a world with vast differences in people's judgments about what is good and evil. All strife, separation, disease, dis-ease, disunity and wars can be traced back to judgments made and disagreed upon. Being right is what most people believe is their identity. It is what humans do. It makes sense. Hit the nail, not the thumb. Isn't it obvious? Now, I have a conclusion and a solution to suggest to you, but before I do, here are some dangers of thinking that we are right, illustrated, as I included in the beginning of this chapter. A few facts of history about people who thought they were right. Question, why did, excuse the pronunciation, Gavrilo Princip shoot Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo on the 28th of June 1914, leading to World War I, resulting in 16 million deaths? According to his beliefs, this was the right thing to do. Why did Adolf Hitler launch an invasion of Poland on the 1st of September 1939, leading to World War II and 50 to 80 million deaths? According to his beliefs, this was the right thing to do. Why did people decide to crash planes into the World Trade Center on 9th of September 2001, killing about 3,000 people that day? According to their beliefs, this was the right thing to do. Why was there coordinated bombings in Madrid on the morning of 11th of March 2004, killing 193 people and injured about 2,000 people? According to the killer's beliefs, this was the right thing to do. You see the picture? This is what happens when people think they're right. Why did Anders Breivik, on the 22nd of July 2011, open fire on youngsters attending a summer camp on the Norwegian islands of Utøya, taking 77 lives? According to his beliefs, this was the right thing to do. I could go on. One more. Horrible, isn't it? On the 15th of March 2019, Brenton Tarrant killed 49 people and wounded 48 at 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, in the nation's deadliest attack. Why? According to his beliefs, he would thought this was the right thing to do. All these killers had the blind spot. Why do religious cults put their members under laws that they can't bear, and when they fail to obey and carry those rules and regulations and laws the leaders have put on them, they remove them from their fellowship and forbid the current members to have anything to do with them, resulting in the destruction of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of families across this world? Why? Why do cults, religious cults, have a legacy of family destruction? Because they believe they are right. So, what is the alternative? Consider this if you will. How about this? Live by your heart and increasingly discover the amazing love inside yourself and everyone else. It's there. Explore living and moving in non-judgmental compassion rather than the old right and wrong judgment. Love everyone, including yourself, unconditionally. To realize the capacity you have inside you to do this, find someone who can reveal the love inside you. Someone who is perfect love and who shows that you are too. You are made in the image and likeness of unconditional love. Don't settle for anything less. So how about, it's not about me being right anymore. Instead, how about love is right? Love and love alone opens up the whole vista of endless possibilities through an innocence and a childlike spirit of unconditional generosity, encouragement and fullness of life. Instead of crawling through our existence on our hands and knees with an I'm right and you're wrong belief, you are now free to soar like an eagle on the currents of love. Your intuition is now like a flowing river of living water. No more war, no more separation, no more division. Instead, everlasting love, joy and peace and union for all. In the words of Freddie, this could be heaven for everyone.